On the 26th of June 2002, as part of our European tour, we left France and journeyed to northern Switzerland, camping near the town of Sissach. The campsite was on a working farm, and the farm animals knew who their friends were. After dinner, we headed into the hills above the farm. What peace, what beauty. The next episode I blame on the wine, plus more than a little joie de vivre.
High on a hill was a lonely goat herd,
The hillside orchard had a bountiful supply of cherry trees, all laden with cherries just ripe for the picking. So we picked them until our bellies were full and our fingers black with the juice. During breakfast the next morning, we became aware that the hay was being harvested from the top fields and stored in the barn, an excellent opportunity for an enthusiastic cameraman. Later that day we drove into Sissach, which was a country town dominated by the cathedral. The next day dawned warm and inviting, so we set off on a walk along the numerous country lanes, delighting in the flora and fauna in the hedgerows and waysides. As we turned a corner, we came across this idyllic scene. Everyone, from Grandad, who was over 90 years old, to the grandchildren, had to muck in, without the mechanical aids of the modern day. The next morning it was all hands on deck to make ready for the 100-mile trip to Kandersteg in the Bernese Oberland. That evening we went along to a local event in nearby Frutigen. It was similar to sumo wrestling, and involved wrestling your opponent to the ground by hauling and pulling on oversized shorts worn over their clothes. One of the highlights of our visit was our trip up the mountain. After looking at the price list, Vince reckoned that it would be no effort for him to reach the top. The ski lift started like going on a roller coaster, then slowed to make a steady, silent climb to the mountains. We travelled higher than the houses and fields, then the trees, until we topped some of the mountains themselves. O'Shanassy is a mountain lake, beautiful but surprisingly busy. These brave or mad souls venturing into the lake's icy water are scouts from Brecon in Scotland. We continued our walk higher into the mountains, which took us along the side of O'Shanassy amid hedgerows of wild flowers. We continued to climb, spurred on by the wonderful views and enchanting waterfalls and streams. Eventually we called a halt in a meadow with a convenient seat, pretty flowers, the song of cowbells and beautiful views. Suitably revived, we struggled onwards and upwards, aiming to meet a crossroad which hopefully would lead us down. Some parts were quite scary, with wire-roped steep climbs, but once committed there was no turning back. The crossroads was eventually reached, although the narrow paths with terrifying drops tested us to the extreme. But what views when we had time to look! We staggered onto the ski lift, exhausted but exhilarated by success. On the 5th of July 2002 we left Kandersteg and boarded the car train which took us through the mountains of the Bernese Oberland to Kopenstein. We left Switzerland via the Simplon Pass and entered a cloudy Italy, but that's another story.